It's estimated by the UN that the scale of money laundering is equivalent to between 2 to 5% of global GDP. Nick Thatcher went to find out more about the global nature of financial crime and what's being done to address it.
The problem of corruption is present in all nations, rich and poor, north and south, developed and developing. And in the words of the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, it robs societies of schools, hospitals and other vital services of much-needed funds. Public officials can often enrich themselves or turn a blind eye to criminality, whilst also depriving people of their rights, driving away foreign investment and despoiling the economy.
Financial institutions have a number of responsibilities in the context of corruption. It involves understanding the threat, understanding the nature of corruption, then risk assessing that to see how it interacts with their own customers, their own products and services. And having understood that, developing controls that mitigate it.
The annual costs of international corruption amount to a sky-high $3.6 trillion in the form of bribes and stolen money, much of which flows around the world via the global financial system, as those responsible look to disguise its criminal origins. Another survey showed that 25% of people worldwide said they had had to pay a bribe simply to access public services. It's often the poorest communities and countries which pay the highest price for these ill-gotten gains. And over the years, organisations have been set up to fight back.
In 1993, a few individuals came together to take a stance against corruption and created Transparency International. Now based in more than 100 countries, the movement works relentlessly to stir the world's collective conscience and to bring about change.
The UK national chapter of Transparency International is here in London.
I wanted to talk to you about the Russian laundromat.
And Robert Barrington is its executive director. He told me no country can afford to ignore the scale of the problem.
I think it's too early to say it's a losing battle, but you certainly can't say that we're winning it at the moment. This needs to be tackled at a global scale. Individual firms need really to be doing their bit, because once you've got a chink in the armour, people often say that laundered money is like water, it flows through the cracks. And as soon as you've got cracks, that's where it will flow. So all of those institutions that are the frontline defences need to be robust in those defences. Without that, we will lose the battle.
Another non-governmental organisation is Global Witness. Its work to uncover the truth about the sale of so-called blood diamonds to fuel the civil war in Angola in the 90s helped earn it a reputation for challenging corruption across the world. Campaigner Ninka Polstra told me that today new technology may help people to hide their money, but the emergence of big data has made it easier to detect it.
That data is available either because it's leaked, but also as governments make important data sets increasingly available to the public. And that's where we are playing a role to use technology and things like algorithms and cloud computing to analyze companies, procurement information, property ownership, and a number of other important data sets to reveal suspicious activity and corruption.
The International Compliance Association is also committed to supporting its members and the wider compliance community, and provides training and education that helps professionals recognise and prevent financial crimes, such as bribery and corruption.
The ICA offers training from certificate to postgraduate diploma level. So, for instance, around how do we assess and evaluate risk? How do we manage that risk? How do we build a control framework? Customer due diligence, transaction monitoring, investigation. These are some of the areas that are included within our training that will enable organisations to meet the challenge of countering the threat of corruption.
Whilst corruption still takes place and bribery is seen simply as a way of doing business in some parts of the world, international initiatives, cooperation, and the highlighting of the human costs are providing a ray of light, a hope that real changes can be made.